We're breaking down all the angles with the best political team on television. Let's go ahead and start in North Carolina with White House correspondent Brianna Keilar. Brianna, you're actually traveling with the president.
Yeah, we're following the president, Kira, and you can tell it's kind of noisy where I am. I'm at NC State, where the president will speak at about 1 p.m. to a crowd of thousands here pushing his jobs plan. Now, his first stop here in North Carolina is going to be not too far from here. He'll be touring a manufacturing small business, and the whole point of that is to tout one element, and really the biggest element of his jobs plan, which is an extension of a payroll tax cut to employers. The idea, the White House says, put more money in their pockets and allow them to hire more people. This is actually one element of his jobs plan that House Republicans have indicated they're amenable to, that they would be open to it, and they've talked about really kind of looking at the certain parts that they have common ground with on the president, perhaps breaking off that piece and passing it. We heard yesterday, Kira, from the White House, from White House Press Secretary Jay Carney, that the president wouldn't veto an element of this bill if he got it piecemeal, but he's going to keep going back to Congress, pushing for more, and that's what he'll be pushing for today, Kira. He wants Congress to take up this entire bill and pass it soon, although, sources on the Hill concede it's very unlikely that it would pass Congress in its entirety.
All right, Brianna Keilar, thanks so much. And President Obama is choosing states where he needs to get the most political bang for his buck. And new polling results show just how skeptical the public has become. Deputy Political Director Paul Steinhauser joining us from Washington. He's got the numbers. Paul?
Hey, good morning, Kara. Yeah, brand new numbers from CNN and ORC. This was conducted over the weekend after the president's primetime speech on Thursday night on jobs. Check this out. Do you approve or disapprove of how President Obama is handling his duties in the White House? 43% approval, pretty much where it's been. 55% disapproval. Kira, that is an all-time high now in CNN ORC polling. Also, the numbers indicate that his numbers on being a decisive and strong leader are dropping among the American public, Kira.
All right, and what about the numbers with regard to the economy?
Yeah, with the economy, look at it right there. Has the president's policies made the economy better or worse or not? And you can see right there, only 9% say what the president's doing, his programs have made the economy better. 39% say it's prevented it from getting worse. About half the public says, yeah, he's doing all right, but another 52% right there, you take that 37% who say it's made it worse and 15% who say it's had no effect. So kind of a mixed message there. But as troubling as those numbers are for the president, go to the next one. Who will do a better job on the economy? Who do you trust more to fix the economy? And you can see that President Obama does do better than congressional Republicans. 46% say they trust the president to deal with the economy. Only 37% say Republicans in Congress, Kira.
All right, Paul, thanks.
We turn back here into some presidential politics. The president pitching his jobs bill at a small business in North Carolina as we speak. Later, the president will press Congress to pass that jobs package when he speaks at North Carolina State University. North Carolina, the second 2012 battleground state the president has visited in the past 2 days. Yesterday, he was pushing his jobs fix in Ohio.
Maybe there's some people in Congress who'd rather settle our differences at the ballot box than work together right now, but I've got news for them. The next election is 14 months away. And the American people don't have the luxury of waiting that long.
Oh, the latest CNN opinion research poll asks, who do you trust more to handle the economy? Barack Obama or the Republicans in Congress? Well, 46% say the president, 37% say the Republicans, 15% say they don't trust either one of them. And at a quarter to the top of the hour, we can show you a live event taking place right now. That's the President of the United States. He is on the road like he said he would be on the road in his joint session speech to Congress. That was last week. He was talking about jobs. Well, he said he was going to go on the road and sell that $447 billion package, and he is doing it right now. He is in North Carolina, another battleground state. He's already been to Ohio, Virginia to sell this thing, and he can tell you probably he's just getting started. But he's there at NC State talking to the young people there. Part of the Wolf Pack, but talking to them, we will see the president often, probably in the next few days and weeks, selling that package directly to the American people, trying to get Congress to, as he says, pass the bill right now. We are monitoring the president's remarks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Randy Kay. The battleground state is different. The pitch is the same. Right now, President Obama is trying to pump up support for his jobs bill at North Carolina State University in Raleigh. Since he unveiled the plan in a speech to Congress last Thursday, he's traveled to Virginia, Ohio, and now North Carolina, promoting its mix of tax cuts infrastructure spending, unemployment aid, and future tax hikes on the wealthy to pay for it. Those hikes and new spending are fighting words to Republicans. But look at this. A brand new ORC poll shows more Americans like the American Jobs Act than don't. And when we break it down, the main provisions get solid majority support. The president also leads in the trust contest. Asked whom they trust more to handle our troubled economy, 46% say Mr. Obama, 37% say Republicans in Congress, 15% say they trust neither. But look at this. More than 7 Americans in 10 say they're angry about the way things are going. Just as many say they're scared. 33 minutes past the hour. Let's check on the top headlines and some other news that you may have missed today. President Obama back on the road right now, pushing his jobs bill, taking his case to the key battleground state of North Carolina. The president is in the Raleigh-Durham area where he toured a manufacturing facility and then headed to North Carolina State University to deliver his 3rd speech in as many days. The president once again told Congress that they should have no problems passing the bill.
Everything in this proposal, everything in this legislation, everything in the American Jobs Act is the kind of proposal that in the past at least has been supported by Democrats and Republicans. Everything in it will be paid for.
A new CNN ORC international poll shows more Americans trust the president on economic matters than they trust Republicans in Congress.
President of the United States venturing into the Deep South today to try to sell his new jobs package. North Carolina, a state that went for Barack Obama by the slimmest of margins back in 2008. And that, of course, could prove crucial come 2012. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But first, I want to show you this new poll. It's pretty good news for the White House here. It shows Americans trust the president more than they trust the Republicans when it comes to handling the economy. A solid majority, 74%, likes his plan to help the states hire teachers, hire first responders. Another solid majority likes the idea of hiring unemployed workers to build roads, build bridges and schools. And another solid majority likes his plan to cut the payroll tax on workers. Here is the president today. I want to just play this clip, trying to turn that support into leverage for his jobs plan.
We've got to tell Congress to do their part. Yeah, you've got some Republicans in Congress, they like to talk about how, we're in favor of America's job creators. Well, you know what? If you're in favor of America's jobs creators, this is your bill. This will actually help America's job creators. So we need to pass this jobs bill right away.
Brianna Keeler live for us now in Raleigh. And Brianna, does the White House, do they believe it can harness all this backing for the president's jobs plan and then actually get something passed?
They do. This is really the strategy, Brooke. Witness the take it out of Washington strategy, if you will. The idea here, and we've heard the president say this in here today, this was the 3rd of his out-of-town stops the last 6 days, that he wants the help of Americans telling their members of Congress to help him pass the jobs bill. Here today, someone yelled from the audience, "I love you, Barack." And this happens from time to time, Brooke, and he said back to them, "If you love me, help me pass this jobs bill." It's sort of unclear if it's working at this point, but this is the strategy that the White House is going to be doing here for months, for the better part of the rest of the year, Brooke.
Speaking, though, Bree, of strategy, we know the president keeps saying, we hear this line, pass this bill right away. And I thought, one could take it as, okay, pass this whole thing right away. But now I'm hearing this suggestion, maybe not the whole thing.
Yeah, so it's been clear that the president's strategy has been, here's the bill, I even wrote it for you, just pass the whole darn thing, and if you don't pass the whole darn thing, I'm going to slam you for getting in the way of putting Americans back to work. That's the strategy. But then yesterday we heard that he said to a group of Hispanic journalists that he wouldn't veto bits and pieces of the bill because there are some provisions, in fact, the bulk of the bill that House Republicans are on board with, and that is the payroll tax cuts portion of this. So the conventional wisdom here is, doesn't that undercut really the White House's argument, the president's argument to pass this entire bill? They insist, though, that it doesn't, and they're just sort of, there's a reality of letting Congress do its work.
Okay, we mentioned this off the top, is in North Carolina, not at all a coincidence that the president is shopping his jobs plan there, is it?
Yeah, and you know this because this is your college stomping grounds in North Carolina, UNC. But you mentioned that he won here by the slimmest of margins, and boy, did he. 0.3%, 0.3 of a percentage point over John McCain. And that, of course, is when the president was very popular. Right now, his disapproval rating has hit an all-time high. So you can see that's quite slim. He didn't even get the popular vote here in North Carolina. And this is seen as a state, the 15 electoral votes here really must win for whoever his Republican challenger is. He's really trying to hold on to North Carolina, if you will. And it's part of this kind of swing state swing that he's been doing. Virginia, Ohio yesterday, North Carolina today. Although the White House does say, Brooke, it's not about campaigning for the re-election. They say it's about campaigning for growth and jobs. And they say they will be going to some non-swing states, none on the schedule yet, though.
But as you mentioned, Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, never a coincidence in politics. Brianna Keeler, you know that. Brianna, thank you very much. Live from Raleigh. Thanks for the shout out from my school, by the way.
Let's turn to President Obama right now. He's busy juggling his short-term and long-term efforts to win a second term. He traveled to North Carolina today to sell his jobs plan and sell himself to voters who will help decide his fate on Election Day of next year. Our White House correspondent Brianna Keeler has been traveling with the president.
Wolf, President Obama won North Carolina by just 0.3 of a percentage point last election. And even though White House officials insist this was not a campaign stop, this was his third visit in 6 days to swing states he's hoping to hold on to next year. In a trip that seemed to be as much about the 2012 presidential election as pushing his jobs plan, President Obama took his message to the Tar Heel state.
Hello, North Carolina!
The sights and sounds of a campaign stop, a friendly crowd of thousands at North Carolina State University, even an old slogan with a new twist aimed at Republicans.
There may be people whose refrain is no, we can't, but I believe, yes, we can.
Those no we can't people the president is talking about are House Republicans. He's urging them to swallow his plan whole, and he's prepared to slam them if they don't.
They don't want to pass it because it would give me a win. Give me a win? Give me a break. That's exactly why folks are fed up with Washington.
It's quite the role reversal. The president is trying to play hardball. House Republicans, downright obstinate during the debt ceiling negotiations, are now calling for compromise, unexpectedly reticent to be drawn into another bruising battle.
I hope he'll listen to our ideas, and I hope that he'll work with us to find common ground to get our economy moving and to create jobs again.
That common ground is actually the bulk of the president's jobs plan, the expansion of a payroll tax cut for employees and cutting payroll taxes for employers in half. The very tax cut President Obama highlighted in his visit to this Raleigh area manufacturing facility.
American manufacturing, we want to highlight. Yes, sir. Anything you can do to help us?
But Republicans oppose infrastructure spending the president wants and tax increases on wealthier Americans, as well as hedge fund managers, oil and gas companies, and corporate jet owners that Mr. Obama has proposed to pay for the bill. There's a political calculation President Obama and his top advisors are making. Looking at his approval ratings, they're at a near low of 43% in the latest CNN ORC poll. Take a look at Congress's. They're 15%, and that, the White House feels, gives them some leverage over House Republicans that they didn't have before the bruising debt ceiling battle, Wolf.
Brianna Keeler traveling with the president. Thank you.